On the right.
Technology works well. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. If you are joining me live, let me know where you are joining me from. My name is Julianne Duffy. We're here for the weekly energy review. We're going to look at the week of March 29th till next Sunday, April 5th, Easter Sunday. So we're going to have an overview look at the week ahead. Before I get started, please, wherever you're watching from, please do like, share, subscribe. You can check out my app here. I was going to show you guys that. Then I had too many screens open. But I did want to, I'm going to share a few things before we get started because we're going to jump into the week. There's a lot going on. And if you're in alignment, Easter Sunday after the full moon and going into Easter Sunday is just going to, it's going to be a very exciting week. If you are into your intuition and doing your purpose here. Like it really is. But I wanted to share a couple of things. I've got for April, I have my Clarify Your Direction April digital download so that you can pick up here. The link is in the description so that you are interested in checking that out. And I will just go here and show you. So I've got a couple of different downloads. So we've got the Clarify Your Direction for April. Of course, I've got Marches. And then I have this Stay Oriented March to August. And this one here is the 6-month overview. So it's got a lot more details, but if you're interested in checking them out, the April one is $5. And we go through a lot of things, your monthly reflection, the theme of April, common patterns, things to focus on. So it's a guide to help make it through the month of April. And you can check out the other things. I've got the Stay Oriented, as I mentioned. It is a little more, $47, still very good deal because there's a lot in here. And you've got the guide over each of the month and the breakdown so you can plan ahead if you like getting a head start on planning, right? And kind of seeing where the energies are going. But I've got a lot of other things. So you can check out some of the different items I have here if that is of interest. But I wanted to share that before I get started because I've got the April Clarifying Your Directions available. So you can check that out. And it is only the $5, like I mentioned. So I think it's a good deal and it's going to help you prepare for the coming month. But let's jump into it. We're going to look at this week coming till next Sunday, and I will come live Easter Sunday at 11:11 to tell you how the week's going to go from there. But let's start. So the elemental cycle. So it's interesting as we go through the elements of the week. When I'm doing this report, so I better take a moment to explain if you're new to join. We look at the elements, the numerology, and then the Vedic and the Western, and we're looking at what overlaps on all of these guides, all of these types of intuitive slash these are really logical. These are things, numerology, and then the elements are related to the actual astrology. So that's actually more, and then astrology is all calculations. So we're using those looking for themes. That is essentially it. But on the element overlay of the week, so I'm going to summarize the week up before we get into the details of each day. We're going to look at the 2 days at a time. But we start with fire. So we're opening this week, this Sunday, Monday, we're in Leo, which is a desire to be seen. So we're wanting to start to be seen. A lot of expression, energy, and confidence. And then as we start to move through the week, so early to midweek, so probably Monday, Tuesday time, we're going into Virgo. We're getting into discernment, really reviewing things, and a lot of responsibilities and like what we need to pay attention to and our responsibilities. Then we work to about middle week, we're going into air, and it's a lot of clarity, desire for balance. This is also when we're going to have the full moon in Leo, which is interesting. We're going to talk about that when we get to that point. Then we jump into water later in the week under Scorpio. So it's emotional depth, honest reckoning. That's what it really brings up. The full moon is going to reveal a few things. And then as we get to the end of the week, we've got the fire, but it's not the same fire that we started with. So it's an interesting, because we have the fire that gets us started, and which is bringing in the warmth, creativity, wanting to be seen. And when we end the week on Easter Sunday, looking at that, it's a different type of fire. So that'll be interesting with that energy. So that's kind of how the energies flow elementally as we go into the week. And collectively, we're going to feel a lot of people are going to be really pulled towards balance. The full moon, which is in Libra on April 2nd, is a moment of emotional revelation. We're going to, it's a lot of things have been quietly building. We've seen this energy and this same theme for a long time, kind of the end of 2025 to now. We've seen this same energy, and it becomes impossible to ignore things that maybe we haven't. So they might have already come up because we have been pushed through this energy and really becoming aware of things. So by Easter Sunday, it's an honest reckoning, and it's just things that we can't ignore. Those that allow the process to move through them will actually feel a genuine sense of renewal. So if you have actually been like openly evolving and wanting to do this, the evolution work of healing, looking at yourself, reflecting, and like asking honestly, like what your beliefs are, and have been able to adapt, by the time we get to Easter Sunday next week, you're going to feel an actual renewal. Like, because it's going to be interesting. That's the energy, right? And when you get to Easter, it's a very appropriate Easter energy, especially when you think about what that renewal, the new, right? And we're really jumping into spring. So what we're going to watch for as we go through the week, and we'll go into more detail, but when we do get into the full moon on the 2nd of April, which is around 11 a.m. or 2:11 a.m. Eastern, that is the energetic peak of the entire week. So it's really bringing up relationships, truth, fairness, and so time to pay attention to what becomes clear. So like I said, that's going to be the full moon's really going to be like shining that spotlight on what you need to work on, or what's going to be clear to change or advance, whatever it might be in your life, right? And then by the time we get to Easter, if you've been working on those things, releasing those things, healing through them, and finding what I'm learning all about, which is really the graciousness, is like the way to level up in this reality. So that's an interesting thing. So I feel like if that is all coming in, you're going to feel renewed. And so that's where we're going to kind of go for the week. And we're going to jump in. We'll start with today and tomorrow, and then we'll kind of review overall. But what I wanted to bring up, I've mentioned about, I'm a little bit more fearful of having to reincarnate than be able to choose to not reincarnate. I want to be able to have the ability to choose whether I want to come back in the next life. And I've been listening because I'd heard of Edgar Casey, but I really started to be highlighted. Some of his videos have really come to be highlighted in my life, and pointing out apparent things and having those aha moments. So those things that I've talked about, I'm going through those simultaneously as I'm talking about them being presented to all of us. And I think it's very interesting the things I'm learning. One of his recent videos that came across my YouTube was about karmic law, and then this like gracious law, right? And how people, like, if you think about karma, it's you're going to pay for the outcomes, right? Like, so if you've done things to people, you're going to have a time or another life where you learn. It's kind of the idea, and it's numerical. And then the graciousness is kind of this like, if we think about it in terms of schooling, you've already learned the content, so you've kind of passed the test. You don't need to do the whole class. So karma is more like you're doing the class, and then the graciousness is you've learned your purpose or the thing. You don't have to spend the time in the class, so you can kind of jump over it, I've heard the different concepts because it was always about love and forgiveness, and you really want to truly feel like that. But then it's also living in this graciousness of being gracious, and then also having this ability to reflect on how you affect people and feel the way they would feel. And that's how we are letting go and being able to like learn something, is when we can really feel and intuitive and understand that, we've learned that lesson. So it's an interesting thing, because if we go through the energy, and we're being spotlight from the full moon is spotlighting what we need to really highlight, look at. And if we can come to the terms where I feel like we're really gracious, we've looked from the perspective of all sides, and we're really truly doing the best to feel it, because it's all about how it feels. Because a lot of people, especially spiritual, oh, I've already gotten past this or that, but you know that they can't feel that in their body. Your body, the energy, that's life, consciousness, God can tell. Like if you've healed, your body's not going to have a reaction in any way, right? So if you think about a situation and if you've truly let that go, you're not being triggered. You'll know in your own body, feeling it. You do. So this is an interesting concept I've come to, and I feel like that is a lot of us learning this, and I'm definitely not. There's something just actually, as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking of a petty thing I wanted to do to somebody and realizing that's so petty. And then thinking from their perspective of why they even did this thing and going, it is really sad. And it doesn't justify, but it's having that energy or understanding of like where they would mentally be, why they would see it this way. And I feel like if you want to evolve, the more we can get into that graciousness. And Edgar Casey had like a few techniques, which is always going back to being gracious, using that. And actually, one of my courses, we talk all about it. So if you are interested, and check out my website, I do have a course where we look at being gracious and sending great love and gratitude and being in that, and not only that gratitude energy that's going to help us, but also doing the hard work of actually reflecting, actually trying to feel how that person feels, and also forgiving ourselves too, right? So this is a weird thing, forgiving ourselves, because I've always struggled with forgiving because, you know, I get it. Your energy is what heals through the forgiving, is you healing the energy. It doesn't justify what's happened to the other person did to you or whatever had happened. Um, but healing that, sometimes we want that spike, which is really the karma. We want them to learn their lesson. Yet for us to evolve, we need to be able to see from their perspective why they even did it. So we're more just, it lets it go. And it's interesting because then you go down the whole thing and what he brought up, and people having just divine protection until they do their purpose. And then like how he stated it was interesting because it's come up in readings in my astrology, and then going, oh my gosh, that makes sense because there's a time I probably should have died and we didn't die. And there's just times like that and you're just like, this is weird. And then going through my own charts has led me to realize that my soul really comes to its peak later in life. That's when I built my authority. And then realizing that, coming across this information, like how much more important graciousness is, even teaching it, even going and pulling to live in it as much as possible, how much more important is we are working on it if we want to level ourselves up. And it was also totally related. And then we're going to get into it. There was another one about a lot of souls just purposely on strike, not coming back right now, that are highly advanced souls. And so there's a lot of them that want to know it's worth coming back to earth to level up. And so it's an interesting concept. And then you're like, well, if we can prove it's worth leveling up and we can level up through how difficult this reality is, and it's not fun, because I will be the first to tell you I have felt bamboozled my entire life, because I remember choosing to come here thinking it was going to be fun, and I've had this internal fight of going, it's not fun. And so it's an interesting thing following the Edgar Casey, and I found it quite relevant to what is happening this week. So a lot of those concepts come up through the week. So let's dive into it. So we're diving into today and tomorrow. So it's Sunday the 29th, Monday the 30th. And we're going to start with the universal numerology. Then we're going to get into the elements, and then the Western and Vedic astrology, and then look at the overall combined energies, which you'll start to see a pattern. And it's very interesting. When I prep, I do my best to point out the patterns that are overlapping between the different thoughts, the different techniques, right? So with the universal days, today, Sunday is on the energy day 6, and Monday is energy 7. So we're going through harmony, love, and responsibilities, the energy, highlighting relationships, and really balance. That's come up a lot, right? Then we go into day 7, which is more introspective, spiritual awareness, quiet pursuit for the inner truth. We're healing. We want to level up. We got to find that graciousness. We got to be able to forgive ourselves while we're reflecting on how they felt, forgive ourselves for making them feel that way, and vice versa, right? Like it that greater perspective is a really hard concept, and it because you do have to really think about like looking at yourself truthfully, which is the hardest thing that people don't want to like sit and reflect on. Oh my gosh, maybe that was really horrible what I said. And even though you were mad, or maybe that was really the wrong action because of whatever. However, when we do reflect and like truly can see how we act maybe in another view's eye, it may not be everyone's perspective, but attempting to look as if we're not ourselves, observing ourselves from that higher perspective, is that's that spiritual awareness. That's what's beneath the surface. That's what we're trying to heal. And you can tell when people have healed because that energy is gone. When it's not healed, the energy's still there. You can tell everybody, oh, I'm good, I've forgiven this person. But if the energy hasn't changed, you can, I get talking is part of the manifestation and maybe you'll believe it, but are you not, is it truthful that you can feel that belief in yourself, right? As we continue through Sunday, Monday, we get to the elements. So we've got moon in Leo, right? Leo to Virgo. And then that enters tonight around 7:30 p.m. And then, or sorry, I don't know what day. I put that time down. Sorry, don't mind me. It moves from Leo to Virgo over these next 2 days. And then it's in the Vedic, it's moving from Cancer to Leo. So we've got a water, fire, earth pattern. So it opens this. So what we've got really is the Vedic Cancer starts by opening sensitivity. That's really the water element. Then we move into warmth and confidence through the fire, which is the Western Leo, as well as the Vedic Leo. And then we're setting into grounding awareness, going into the earth, which is the Western Virgo element. So it's a sequence that mirrors the natural movement of feeling into expression and then through thoughtful discernment. So it's interesting because I can only compare my Edgar Casey listening to it is very much the same thing. I'm listening, I'm feeling it and I'm hearing it being expressed into a thoughtful discernment of what am I going to do with this knowledge and this new perspective I have come across. It's for myself. So then we've got going through the Vedic. We'll go through the Vedic. So of course the moon is in Cancer is what we have for today, moving into Leo. So the Cancer emphasizes home, belonging, our security, and our connection. That's what it really is going to bring up. So if the healing does come up in those themes, that's really appropriate. Then we've got the Leo, and that's the collective atmosphere, and that starts to bring up more expressiveness. So many people will actually, again, here we're going again. It is tension between desire for comfort, but being pulled towards greater visibility, confidence, or creative expression. So we're being called to be visible. So again, remember that. So many are going to be feeling the tension between desire for comfort. So you really want that comfort, but you're also being pulled and being visible, being confident, doing those things is going to pull you out of your comfort zone, right? Like if you want to be visible, you have to step out of that comfort at that. And whatever, I think it's also whatever you have to be confident, right? So if it's like, I'm doing and mirroring what I want to see. So I don't do a lot of makeup. I'm not overly done. I'm coming here honest and truthfully because I don't want to ever feel like people have been, bamboozled by who I am. The catfishing in China is bad, okay? I know I talk about Watch the China Observer. There's a recent video that came out yesterday, Saturday, and it's all about the filters and showing these women that have made and men that have these filters on. They look totally different, and most of them are older than I am. And then you're like, wow, like that amazingness of the filters, right? So we want to be seen, but getting out of our comfort zone. We don't need to hide behind filters. Being truthful and honest, like the more we can show up with not having to filter ourselves out and being honest and truthful is going to change, right? If you want that change, and if you want to be seen, you're feeling that call. That is coming up through highlighted in the Vedic, which is also highlighted in the Western. So as we go through Sunday and Monday, the moon begins in Leo. So we've got that, which is the warmth, creativity, and the desire to be seen. So we've got that in the Western as well as the Vedic, right? Then we're moving into Virgo on Sunday evening, which is more towards that reflection, practicality, discernment. So people are just examining truly what's working in their lives and looking at what they need to adjust. That's if you're doing the contemplating, right? If you're doing or you're feeling this need. And I love when it just I love when this type of stuff just manually no manifests, that's the word I'm really going for, manifests naturally into your life. Like it just seems like it just, oh, you suddenly realize you were reflecting or thinking about something because of whatever was triggered. So it's like the guides, the consciousness supports you in legitimately having these things happen around these times. Those always make me excited. Okay, so what we're seeing combined is collective atmosphere supports emotional awareness, desire for connection, being more expressive, visible space, being seen, and also more refinement, more gentle thoughts, ideas, and clarity coming while we're getting more of an idea of what our purpose and our belonging is. And if that's something you're interested in, come and be a beta tester, because one of the biggest things, you get your soul map, which starts to lay out what your purpose is. It's not done because I'm going to be adding some extra features to it, but it is working and looks really, really good. So you can definitely check it out. Come to my website. You can go and check it out. If you do want to be a beta tester and have full access, you do have to go. It's a little bit more work. You have to go into the description of the video, wherever you're watching it on whatever platform, and you have to scroll down and find to be a beta tester. Then you're going to go to my website and you have to answer questions. And I know that's going to filter a huge amount of people out. So you're going to have to do those steps. And then if you fill out the form, you will get to be a beta tester and you will get to try it for free. And there's a huge amount of things built into my app. And it is a great app. And there's a lot of features that I'm going to be getting a little more fine-tuned because I've been doing a lot of the back end information. So if you want to try it, which I highly recommend, because if you want to know how these things look in your own life or what your purpose is, give you that to reflect on, I've got all those tools in my app. But if you want to be a beta tester and get access to the full thing for free, you will have to press some buttons and answer a question. And yes, I will need your email so I can communicate with you and tell you got access. So that's the hard work. I get it. That's what you need to do if you want to be my beta tester. And in my reality is if it's too much to answer, I think it's like 13 or 14 questions, then you're not going to be a very useful beta tester for me. I'm sorry. No offense, but if you can't make it to the point of filling out the form, I'm not interested in having you as beta tester. But you are welcome to check it out at the free website. But you're not going to get as much out of it. You'll get a few things, but it's going to give you the whole, you need to upgrade. And I'm not ready to sell you an upgrade because I'm not there yet. Anyways, the strongest energy as we go through today and tomorrow is emotional warmth, quiet discernment, desire to love, nurture, be seen, and it gives way to reflecting on our inner truth, right? We just continue to talk about that. What actually serves, what no longer serves. And that is, I think, how we really do heal, and how we forgive is going to be going into that gratitude, the attitude of gratitude, the graciousness. And when you're a beta tester, you get access to that course where I teach all of that stuff on the gratitude. It is included on the app. I actually have a whole engine and a whole technique to assist, which helps you get into that more reflective ability to level up. Because really, I think the whole key to leveling up and reducing your karma, removing karma, is being able to reflect on how you truly act and who you truly are, which is the hardest job you can ever take on, is to be truthful and honest and reflect on yourself. I'm not going to say it's easy. But as we go through, to imagine how the collective, so today, Sunday, going into Monday, how we might imagine the collective, many are going to start to notice being pulled towards meaningful connections and shared experiences. So finding our people, I talked about that. That was kind of the energy is showing up at the end of the week. We're here at the beginning of the week, so it's the same energy. Some people are going to be inspired to express appreciation or affection and maybe something important to someone. Conversations are going to be more emotionally depth and sincere, so being more honest. That's how we reflect, right? Being truthful, owning up to our actions. And a lot of people will quietly be reviewing what is truly working in relationships and routines, right? So just kind of reflecting on that. You may not have answers, right? Part of the reflecting, we may not have answers. We may have no answers at all because you're reflecting and you're like, okay, I see this pattern. What do I do? And that is the first step because you open up asking for help. That's when the divine help comes. You just like, you set that intention. You're going, okay, I reflect or I'm seeing or I'm now acknowledging this. And then you just take that moment. You go into that heart space, that gratitude. Imagine yourself feeling like that. It doesn't even have to be long. You can really just take like a mini visualization and be like, I don't know what to do. Please assist me. Give me those guidance. Help me tune in with my intuition and divine law to help give me or present the thing that will assist me. And when you go in that gratitude, it gets easier and easier. But it is a muscle you have to work. That is the point. Like leveling up. By the time we get through Easter, where your spotlight and you are leveling up through the full moon spotlight into Easter, it's going to be that reflecting, being able to truthfully be true, to be truthful, to be sincere. The concepts that don't really run rampant in our culture are really kind of, I get it. It's a beyond normal concept to be truthful and honest and like not hide behind 20 million filters or who you really aren't and presenting somebody that isn't you, right? So that's how we might see the collective on our more personally, a genuine need to reconnect. We might imagine someone we've not spoken to recently. Maybe you've touched base. If you've already had that in the last week or this week, that energy still keeps coming up. And it's interesting because there'll be a lot of people maybe you just haven't connected with, and you're suddenly going to be like, just that need, or they're just going to connect with you. Reach out and touch somebody. And if you're old, you know that. Reach out and touch somebody. Touching you, touching me. Okay, we also may feel the urge to recognize or refine our environment where we are, clean up stuff, make it nice. Again, Easter's coming, so that might be the motivation. A time to pause, reflect on relationships and habits that we really want to nurture or that we need to maybe just, again, have that graciousness, have that reflection on it. And then imagine how to survive today, tomorrow, the best ways to make it through is honor your need to connection, but also quiet reflection. So being able to, that you need to connect, but also taking that ability to reflect and a moment, right? I get it. Turning off your mind, focusing on one thing. You're not even turning off your mind. When you're healing this way, you are focusing on the situation. That might be even more scary than sitting and attempting to get your mind to calm down, is actually contemplating your actions, another person's actions, how this might look to somebody on the outside of even the situation, right? And that's how we kind of get through it, right? We need to honor the connection that of the people, but that we're reflecting. That reflection is so powerful. The thing we don't want to do, right? Look back at actually how we responded, how we handle things, how we feel about things. A lot of people, and I will see this. This is a problem. I myself have ADHD and dyslexia, and I've struggled with those. Never labeled those because that was not labeled in my generation. And the reality was, I just found ways to be motivated to get past my own things that were issues related to it. Because every issue with it, I understand that, but I've had to be motivated to find ways to get past those. Find ways to make my brain work different than everybody else. Realize what worked for me didn't work for other people. And so instead of buying into labels and being like, well, these are just my problems. I can't do this, or I'm always going to be late or whatever because of my issues. We don't use those as excuses. They're part of you. And that might be like, oh, that's why I read those numbers backwards. Or, oh, yeah, that's why I'm struggling to get myself moving today. Acknowledging that these things do affect you, but allowing yourself to choose to grow and expand, that those do not hurt you. And the reality is, There is no list of people that have gotten full accommodations that have ever been successful in life. Neurodivergent people with weird brains have made the biggest changes, the biggest things in life because they had to figure out how to do things by not being normal, not having the whatever this supposed normal brain is. Have to find ways to be successful. The list is huge, and people didn't get accommodations. They were motivated, and when you're motivated to do things, it's amazing what you can do, but that's that motivation. So then when we go through how to make it through Monday or Sunday, Monday, let love and responsibility work together, not compete for your energy. So if you love what you're doing and you're responsible, that is where you want to put your energy into. What not only what you love, but what you're also responsible for. Again, journal and sit, in case I said that too fast. Insights, reflection. The day 7 numerology is asking for depth. It's asking for this deeper work than people are willing to mainly do, or that we're too scared to do. That is actually being called. And notice what you're drawn to nurture this weekend, and what will reveal what matters most. And this is going to come up as we get closer through the week. But I want to take a quick moment. We're going to pull a card. But before I pull a card for Sunday, Monday, if you are feeling like you have something to say, you want to be seen, you want to be heard, then you need to come and join us here. We have got our free webinar, and this is on April 1st and 2nd, and this is about the visibility engine. So all you have to go to is IamYouTubeFamous.com. Just register here. You'll see free webinar, and once you click on it, it'll bring you to, I will actually go to the screen here. It'll bring you to a sign up form, name, email, and if you have anything about the questions, you may or may not. You don't have to fill that out. But then once you fill that out, you will get the details of the webinar. So then you can join us. And this is all about assisting you to be visible, right? Like actually get a plan in place. We firsthand we have been rebuilding our lives for the last 6 years. Our lives were legitimately between astrology and life and the environment. Everything was pulled out from under us. We are living a 180-degree different life than we did before. And I'm not going to say it is not easy going through 6 years. It's like me listening to somebody and they're telling that they went through a life rebuilt and it went from May to October. And I get for them having to be gracious and look from their side. I get that. That was big. For me, 6 years. Playing the little violin. No, we are rebuilding. And part of the rebuilding is learning a lot of things we've learned, which is how quickly you disappear for things that you can't necessarily control. So whether it is locally, you can't go and move and people can't come to your storefront, or whether it's online's great. TikTok changes, then people lost, all these get new ownership. You don't get, whatever. Things change consistently. So it's like getting a plan in place. Now we do use YouTube as a base, but our goal is really, we're helping you get a route. You're going to have a plan. You're going to have a plan, a process that will go through to help you get visible with the least amount of work, but you're getting your message out to everyone to be seen. And again, this is something that if you are looking for virality, that's not, for majority of people, that is not a real thing that's going to happen in your life. If you get something viral, wonderful. But unfortunately, the odds are not in your favor to be viral. And you also want to create authentic people. You want people who actually watch and appreciate what you're doing, because when you have things to offer them, they are going to be the people that will support you. Vice versa, you support those people that you feel connected to. And you want that. So it's becoming visible, and also so that, all the controls outside, maybe this goes down, but you've still got your stuff somewhere else. It's having a plan that you always can be seen. And that's the reality of how you stay in business. So that is what we're promoting. So if you do feel this need to be seen, the link is in my description. It should be the first thing that comes up, is if to join us for a free webinar on the 1st or 2nd, or both days if you want to hear it twice, and find out what we're positioning. Or even just to learn about our YouTube University that we go live every Saturday, and you can join us asking questions. And that's where we just come and yes, my husband, I'm the backup. I'm the backup. I'm there as a cheerleader and just make some off comments. Okay, on that note, so do check that out. We're going to go and pull our card for Sunday, Monday. I know we've only made Sunday, Monday. Let's go. Ask for help. Oh my goodness. Oh, I like seriously. I've been sitting here. Let me see if I can get this a little bit more as I'm like, ooh, my light is reflecting. There we go. Kind of there. Ask for help. There we go. There. Be seen. If you want to know how to be seen, coming at, asking for help is okay. We all need some help. We want some guidance. Go get my April clarity guide. I'll bring that up again at the end. But ask for help. Angels are celestial beings who protect everyone. And the fairies say now is the time for you to ask for angelic assistance. And I'm pretty sure I described that when I said whatever you're coming to terms with, whatever you're wanting to heal, and maybe those things come up, but you don't know what steps to take to send that gratitude, have that moment, and ask for clarity or guidance on how to take those steps. I legitimately said that as we went through this Sunday, Monday. So again, the guides my intuition guides, that energy that helps us is saying, do ask for help. She's not wrong. I'm not wrong. I picked my own cards. I get it. But I literally was shuffling the whole time as I showed the visibility engine. Okay. I love coincidences because they're not coincidences. I'm just, pat them up back. Okay, let's continue on as I won't get all full of myself here. Loving my own card readings. Tuesday, Wednesday. So this is when we get into the 31st and the 1st. So this is the visibility engine day. So if you want to see the first one, this is a good day because the energy actually works perfect for it. But we'll go through the numerology. We've got universal days 8 and 6. So 8 brings power, authority, energy of real world decision making, highlighting ambition, material concerns, capacity to make decisive, confident action. So then we move into day 6, which is then the Wednesday, the 1st, rabbit for April 1st. And that focus softens towards harmony, love, relational responsibility. So 6 calls action to what we have to nurture. Is it being visible? Do we need to nurture being seen? Right? Do we need to? And especially if we have material concerns and we want to take confident action, this would be aligned, something I would highly recommend you want to join us for. And then, but we do need balance required between our goals and the needs of those around us. So again, we also need to keep in mind, that's also why we want to be visible. We want to be visible with the most ease so we can have balance in our lives. And that's, seems appropriate. Okay, let's go to the elements. So we get into the Western astrology. The elements for Tuesday, Wednesday is Virgo to Libra. And then in the Vedic, it is Leo to Virgo. So we got the conversation of fire, earth, and air. And then where am I? Good thing I put numbers because I get lost on my pages. So the pattern between the systems is expression from the fire, the Vedic Leo, then grounded discernment of earth, which is in the Virgo, both in Western and Vedic, and then it moves into air under the Western Libra, which is about the rational awareness. Again, we're coming back to the inner knowing, that connection, the careful refinement in connection, conversation, and the desire for fairness, so desire for balance. The inner knowing, we know if it's fair. Now on the Vedic, so now we're going to jump into the Vedic astrology. We've got the moon again is in Leo, moving to Virgo. So that Leo in Vedic encourages confidence, creative expression, a desire to lead or inspire others. So how are you going to inspire others? How do you want to be seen? Again, very appropriate. Come join our webinar. First link in the description. And I don't know if I have not checked if there's any comments. However, if my production manager could put in the comments the link to the I Am YouTube Famous, then it's there because I clearly keep talking about it. So see if that magically appears in the comments. Um, so yes, so we've got the confidence expression. We want to lead and inspire others, right? So it's still help using our unique gifts to help others. Then the Virgo influence under the Vedic, the collective actually starts to become more analytical and precise. So I want more details. So if you want the details, we've got that in there. It's a we're going to go through the whole thing of how this is going to work. So we want the precise information, and many are going to feel the shift to bold impulses towards a more careful, discerning approach. So we're looking at examining our decisions, routines, responsibility with more attention. Are we going to be serious about being seen, right? Maybe we're working and this is our side job, but how serious do we want to be on that side? How serious are we to get our message out? Do we want to be serious? Because this, you know what, the reality is we have all this potential that's probably waiting, but we're too scared to be seen and to put out what our potential is. So it's like taking those steps to get past that, because that was highlighted for Sunday, Monday, is wanting to be seen, but also that comfort zone. So it's time to really step into if we want a message and we want to be heard and we've got something to say, sell, share, we got to be visible. That's the only way people will eventually find you. Now, the Western astrology for Tuesday, Wednesday, the moon moves into Libra on April, so early morning of April 1st, atmosphere meaningfully. So Virgo brings in the period that is about practicality, refinement, where Libra takes hold of conversations, fairness, partnership, and balance. They both become very prominent, and the energy you'll see as you come through the Tuesday, Wednesday. People might feel more drawn to their choices and actions and how they affect others. Literally what I was just saying, my learning on the graciousness, and then reflecting how we see ourselves. So again, that is really the energy in the Western astrology as we come through Tuesday, Wednesday. So both of these, so the Vedic and the Western astrology, are support movement with decisive action. So taking those strategic moves, right? Those action steps, joining a visibility engine, joining the YouTube university to be seen, that type of stuff. It's more push to get things done, a desire to get things right. We don't want to be wasting our time anymore, and ensure that what we're building, it honors both our personal values as well as shared connections, that we're helping people. So we value it, we know there's value, and we want to share this with other people. And that's what we want to do, visibility engine. Okay, the strongest energy is authority overall. So the strongest energy between the numerology, the elements, and the astrology is discernment giving way to rational harmony, a drive to achieve, act powerfully, softened by the desire to create balance and nurture what is important in the relationships, the responsibility, and shared spaces. But a lot of it is the discernment is learning, is having that reflection coming up multiple times. And again, if you do need some guidance for this month, do check out here on my fourth wall. I'm going to make sure these all are, they have started, they were. I'm going to bring them back up on my app. They will be available to download. We've just had some back end we're updating. But right now you can find them at my breathe-within-yoga-shop.fourthwall.com, and you'll see my clarify your direction for April digital downloads. And you go in here, you'll see all of the downloads that I have on the fourth wall. I have a bunch that are on my app as well. But we've got the stay oriented is also a great one. Don't mind, we are in a parking lot and the semi goes by. And this one goes into the energies of from now, so March till August. So those ones you can definitely check out. But this one is great. And this one will give you a lot of guidance on how to get clarity, journal prompts to assist that are aligned with the energy of April. Since we are really highlighting and healing, it gives you a bunch of practical steps reflecting some of the really powerful dates as well. So check it out. It is there. The link is also in my description, which you should see wherever you are watching me on whatever platform. This should show up. Should always being the thing should. Thank you. Let's pin that. I have pinned it. So if you do want to learn about the visibility engine, it's a pinned comments on YouTube. So you can check that out. And then there's my website for my app. There's my pointer. I'm pointing to my comments, but you're not seeing them there. So probably not helping you. Okay, now how we imagine we make it through Tuesday, Wednesday. The collective we are going to see decisions made earlier, which will be visited on the 31st and 1st with greater care and consideration. So things that maybe we've seen this past week, a little earlier in the month, they're going to come back into the collective with maybe a new view. And then some people are feeling motivated to improve systems, routines, and feel inefficient or draining. So if you are wanting to be visible, again, I am YouTube famous. Go and join the webinar. All you have to do, go right here. It'll bring you to the screen. There's a pop-up that will probably show up, which will also give you the same link. You click that link and it takes you to the document and you apply or you don't apply, you just give us your email and we'll send you the link so you can join us for the webinar. And if you're done being inefficient and feel drained, but you want to be seen, this will assist you. So conversations, fairness, responsibility, shared goals, they all begin to surface on the collective, and many people will have a genuine tension between personal ambition and the needs for those around them. So you want to be building your own business, but you also care about the people around you. This might be why you need to be visible. So you can spend more time with the people you want to spend more time with and less being pulled into things you don't necessarily want to do. And if being visible is going to help you with what your purpose is, can you roll that into a purpose-led life where you're able to be seen, exist, make abundance, money, yet be with the people that you really care about? Now, going through Tuesday, Wednesday, personally, we might imagine a really strong desire to take the decisive action, right? Something going forward, we've been waiting to take those steps. Use the visibility engine. Check out the link in YouTube on both the landscape and vertical. I'm live. Some may pause, refine, and improve plans before committing forward. So this might be that time where you want to get better action plan before you take those next steps. You might also imagine Tuesday, Wednesday, relationships are asking to be more balanced, honest conversation, being more real. And many will feel at peace because they're with both personal goals and relational harmony when we do them together. When our personal goals is also towards like our family goals, this will be much more harmonious, or whatever that means, right? Like the personal and your relational. So how that works in your life if you don't have you're maybe a single person, how you relate to everybody when it's in harmony, it's going to feel much smoother. And that might also be in harmony with your personal goals of your own life and then what you want to offer the collective. And then how to make it through Tuesday and Wednesday. So again, rabbit, and we're going to be getting the full moon, but that hits technically I've got the time, that night at 2 a.m., but it's on the 2nd, right? So keep that in mind. Full moon it's just before. And unless your time zone. So it could technically hit you because I have it 2:11 Eastern. I guess if you're in Pacific, if you're in Hawaii, it might be Hawaii there. You might not be quite there. But it hits right around the beginning of the 2nd. So anyways, we will jump into that. But how we make it through Tuesday and Wednesday, the 1st, the 31st and 1st, with our numerology, the numerology 8 is the decisions you've been postponing. It's time for clarity and action. That's how we're going to make it through. Clarity and action. So take the action, join our visibility engine webinar. The 6th numerology energy reminds us how to act and choose how it affects others around you. So you're going to be like looking at how you act and how it affects others. So that reflection I've been talking about. We're going to look for places where responsibility and love will work together rather than conflict. So we want to be responsible, but we also want to have that relation. That's again so we're looking for those places where it's in balance. And then the other way we make it through Tuesday, Wednesday is refine before finalizing. Careful, thoughtful attention to detail will help to make it through. So let's pull our fairy card for Tuesday and Wednesday. So what they would like to highlight, obviously get a plan together. You want it in alignment. You want it to be win-win in all the situations. And I do believe we can do this. Not saying it's easy, because we have to get out of old paradigms, old brainwashing, old ways of believing, and old ways of seeing things as well, where maybe we're teaching ourselves that every time we take a moment to reflect and feel how we treated somebody else, how we dealt with that person. Like the more we do that, the more that is going to level us up. Let's see what our guides say here. I'll do a little bit more. I just want to prove I don't know what I'm pulling. Music. So the music fairy. Okay, let's see. Can I get it in? Why does it seem worse? Because I changed. Oh, there we go. Perfect. They were kind of perfect. Then I got blurry again. Just pretend like for whatever reason. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now you can see it. Patience. Patience. Bringing it up. Long pose to show the music. There, because that was a lot of work to get it to zoom in properly. Okay. So music. Listen carefully, for there may be a message in the music you hear. So the music can lift your soul, rekindle memories, and charm fairies to your door. So your message, anybody listening, anybody watching, the message is going to come in something you hear. Possibly music. That's going to be a way to, if that's the big thing, that'll come. There'll be a message in Tuesday, Wednesday in the music. Maybe lyrics, maybe just pointing something out. Maybe it just hits some kind of reflection. And that is what we will see on Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, let's move on to Thursday, Friday. So that's coming into, so Thursday's all day is a full moon, essentially, and going into Friday, so the second and the third. So the first is the universal numerology, days 7 and 8. So 7 brings the reflection, spiritual depth, heightened awareness of truth, pausing and looking beneath the surface, trusting deeper wisdom that emerges through stillness and honest inquiry. I said, like this week, it's all about reflecting on how we act, what we do. It's consistent. It happens like there's no coincidence that I came across that Edgar Cayce talking about the difference between karma and graciousness, and how you can use that, and how apparent it is that we are being called. We're getting all this energy to really assist us when we are honestly asking questions, honestly reviewing whatever it is. It can be our business, it can be our lives, it can be relationships. It's all going to be relationships, whether it's personal, business, our relationship with that energy, our relationship with that person. It's how we are and truthfully looking at it, which is where the growth comes. And that not interesting, I'm saying no because it's not interesting, is the full moon. It is the full moon, the day 7. When we get to day 8, which is then the Friday, the 3rd, it's more focused towards authority, power, ability to translate inner insights, and our grounded action in the real world. So now we're taking the steps to make things happen. So you know what? You came and watched our webinar on the 2nd, and then the 3rd, you took the steps to sign up for the visibility engine. That's what you did. You didn't even know I was telling you you're going to be doing that. Real world steps. On that note, yeah, I'm really not full of myself. I do intend that this webinar will give you a lot of insights, or at least a good perspective of why you want to be visible. And if you decide to join us, great, but it will help you get a perspective that you may need. You might need that, because if you're feeling like, I saw, before I get into more of this, I did take a screenshot of this, which I'm going to share. So it was essentially, and I don't know if how well this will share, but it was a survey, because again, my thing does not like, whatever. It doesn't really matter, but the survey is essentially how you consider a YouTube channel successful, right? And the lowest amount is 25,000 subs. Then it's 100,000, then it's a million and unsure. And I'm like, well, 100,000, if that's how you're going to rate your success is on 100,000 subs, most people are going to just not even bother to do it. They've already lost because they don't even believe in themselves. And that is not also, if this is your only return on investment, is that you have 100,000 subs, if that's the only goal, you're missing a huge amount. So it's what you're going to learn with the visibility engine is there's so many returns on investments about being visible, and why, if you're a creator, you sell any product, you have a service to offer, a message, you need to be seen, and the visibility engine helps you get consistent, because it will pay off. It will pay off. Now, will you get 100,000 subs over the 8 weeks? If your content is wonderful and you great, totally. It's not impossible. But that is not necessarily the goal. The goal, or it's not necessarily the return on investment. There's so many other returns on investments that you will get way before you hit your 100,000 subs, or your 25,000 subs, or your 10,000 subs, or any of them. You're going to get more return on investment by being visible. So do check that out. And we're also there to bring back levity, because if you're like, man, I sucked because I only had 5,000 people on a channel, that's an awesome channel. It's 5,000 people. You had 5,000 people that actually subscribe to you. That is wonderful. So you should never feel bad whether you have, like me, I have 1,900 subs. That's 1,900 more people that would not have seen my stuff. Like, it's what we have to do with the perspective, which is a deep learning as well. But as we continue through the second and the third, so we have where did I go? There we are. The elements. So we had the numerology 7 and 8. So 7's the reflecting, all of that stuff that we've been talking about. And then the 8th was the insight, and then ready to take some new action. We got the elements. We got Libra and Scorpio under the Western. And then in Vedic, we've got Virgo to Libra. So the pattern combination is earth, air, water. So how that flows is we're going from grounded discernment with earth under the Vedic Virgo to relational and mental clarity of air, which is the Western Libra and the Vedic Libra, to the full moon, which is in the then to actually water under the Western Scorpio, which is the full moon time, which is the powerful sequence. So that's emotional depth. So full moon the full moon is in Libra, not the Scorpio, because I read that backwards because I was trying to run around my highlighted words. Not being efficient at all. Okay, be efficient. So we go from the Libra, which is in the full moon, to then the emotional depth after. So we're having more of that contemplation energy. And then the full moon in Libra it sits at the peak of Libra. And then the air phase is illuminating and build what we've been building. And then the energy descends deeper into transformational emotional water. So that is how the full moon really hits. So it peaks, it illuminates what we've been building, and then it's really going to push some transformation in the background. Now, as we get into the full moon, I wanted to highlight the full moon specifically before we go into the Vedic and the Western. What the full moon in Libra is bringing is relationship balance, truth, that becomes very sharp and an undeniable focus, like completely like truthful in that focus. It reveals what's quietly out of alignment, connections with others and within ourselves. And it's also a moment where we feel like we've been waiting to get that aha clarity. So it's all arriving at once. So what has been what has been weighing on you? What have you been trying to balance? That is going to be all highlighted. And it brings more clarity, more answers. So if you're sending that moment of gratitude, putting out your intention, what you're asking, that is the time, is this full moon. And sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to bring it into light. So there's going to be a lot of discomfort. It's not comfortable to do this. It's not the easiest work, but it's going to pay off. Jupiter starts to go direct in Cancer, which is more emotional warmth, expansion of optimism, and then the full moon is really helping the collective, all of us, become feeling what is being revealed and where we can grow and benefit. So we're just feeling it and we're starting to see where we can grow and benefit. So this moon is really going to help us. And if you're doing this work, it's going to be a good full moon. It really is. You won't be a lunatic. Okay, I'm not going to say personally, you might need to check out your own astrology. I can't guarantee that. Go check out my app. If you want to be a beta tester and get the full thing, go to my website. The link is in the description. Go down. You have to scroll towards the bottom, but it says to be a beta tester. Go there, fill out those few questions, and I will give you full access. And then you will know how the full moon will affect you directly. It'll give you much more insight. But let's continue. The Vedic, the moon reflects in Virgo, moving into Libra. So Virgo is bringing again discernment, a desire to improve and refine, and Libra influences growth. Again, if you want to improve, refine, and growth, come and join our webinar. The link is in the description. First thing at the top, as well as the link is in the comments on here on YouTube by my project manager. No, I don't know. He's that guy that helps me. It's because he's my husband and he just does all the off stuff. My production manager. There we go. That's the word. It's because I don't ever think of him that way. So that word just does not come back to my mind. Production manager. Production. Okay. So that is all growth being, improving a desire to refine and growth. And really, we're beginning to release imbalances, what's quietly been growing underneath the surface, which is also overlapped into the Western for the Thursday and the Friday. So the second and third. So we've got, when it's in the full moon is the energetic peak, the relationships, the justice, the truth, everything being brought into light, that big spotlight like I was talking about. Then we move to the third into Scorpio, and it deepens considerably. So it's emotions surfaced by the full moon. We move through a deeper layers of intensity, encouraging honest reckoning. Again, what's been hidden, unresolved, or quietly avoided. Hidden, unresolved, or quietly avoided under Western, quietly growing beneath the surface under Vedic. So what has been under can be good, can be bad, but it's going to be highlighted. It's going to be highlighted from the full moon. It's putting a light on there. So it'll be interesting on how that really shows up in the collective. But the combined Vedic and Western is really this combination. So the full moon. So we're going. The most powerful revealing period of the month is this full moon. So right at the beginning of April, this is the biggest one. Okay. So the full moon in Libra illuminates what's out of balance. The Scorpio shifts and encourages a deeper dive. And then it's an emotional truth of what's been quietly shaping our inner world. So the combination is rarely allows an easy avoidance. So this combination is it's not going to let you easily avoid whatever gets the spotlight for you. And what's genuinely needs to be faced will find its way to a surface during these 2 days. So if it's something, it could be something coming up that you need to look at that is going to be unavoidable. It's going to be super difficult to try to avoid whatever it is. The strongest energy, illumination followed by depth. So the full moon brings clarity. So the strongest, this is all the numerology, the elements, and the Vedic and Western astrology. Okay. So the illumination is followed by depth. Full moon, clarity, powerful into open Scorpio shifts. So clarity becomes powerful And it opens where Scorpio starts to shift into courage and to go below the surface for an honest reckoning and clarity on what is being revealed. So it's really like Scorpio and all of this shift is going to give us courage to go into these deeper levels that are under the surface and to look at it honestly. It's going to give us that courage. That's going to assist us of what we're really being brought to light. Now, how we might imagine making it through the second and the third, collectively, we might see and imagine relationship dynamics that felt unresolved suddenly become clear. We might see that on the government stages. Where are these relationships going, right? Some unexpected emotional release connected to something long-standing. Conversations, honesty, fairness, partnership could reach meaningful turning point. And then many will feel both weight and relief of finally seeing something no one can ignore. So that's what we're imagining, and that's what we'll see on the collective. And I got a little distracted because somebody knocked on the door, probably wondering why we've been living here. It's like, no, we've been living here because we got another flat tire. We had 2 days in a row of flat tires on opposite ends, same tire. So back once, not the same tire, but the same location, 2 of them, 2 days. So the first day we used our backup, and then we had no backup. So we had to, it was fun. Fun times. Living this life is not easy. Traveling all the time you just have to roll with it because that's the only option you have. So what we might imagine in the collective, more honesty, more meaningful, we're seeing something that can no longer be ignored is going to come up in the collective as well. So the same energy is what we've been talking about. Now we might imagine on our personal level, the full moon clarifies decisions we've been postponing. So things we've been postponing or not doing, those are going to come up. Some may feel emotionally raw, unexpectedly lighter after acknowledgement of the deeper truth. So you might feel yourself feeling lighter, but maybe more emotional because that what you've been avoiding is really coming to light. Drawn to have honest conversations, and you've been waiting for the right moment. This is what you might imagine feeling personally. Choose Thursday, Friday. And many notice the emotional intensity of this period is actually moving them forward. It's helping them go forward. That is what's happening. We're being pushed forward. Now, how to make it through? Thursday, coming into Friday to the weekend, allow the full moon to illuminate rather than overwhelm, showing you what is real. So let it show you what's real. Be prepared. But most of the time you're going to know. If you've been doing this work and if you've been denying it, and you're like, oh, I don't think I've even been denying it. When it gets highlighted, you're going to be like, oh, that's what I've been denying. It's going to be apparent. And allow it to come through what it needs to do so you can heal, especially with gratitude. Resist the urge to retreat from the Scorpio energy, asking you to honestly feel what you need to feel. The numerology 7 is an inner reflection before acting on what the full moon reveals. So again, reflect before what is revealed will help. So before we get to the second, like the first for sure, 31st first, be reflecting because it'll make it easier when you get through the full moon on the second. And then the 8 numerology is follow, support, decisive, empowering action. Trust it when the moment arrives. So trust when you were getting the call to take the right thing. Like, come and find out about our visibility webinar, YouTube. I am YouTube famous, because that will help you get more clarity. And let's pull the cards. Finish up getting through Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh, thank you, Lois. Sorry, that's there's times of seasons, and this is obviously the season of not, just because we had a backup. And we didn't immediately replace our backup yesterday. We had no backup because we had used the backup the day before. And so then you have 2 different tires go. Traveling hundreds of kilometers / miles, heading north back to the coldness is amazing what you can do on your vehicle. And it happens. Not even going to talk about my own trauma of cracking things that have to be fixed. So, it's never ending. Okay, because I did not choose an easy life to come here. But let's find out the guidance for Thursday, Friday. What do the guides want to highlight? Okay, so we were told music's gonna have some messages for us. Look at a book. So those books are gonna have some messages. Let me see if I can get there. Let's see, kind of shiny, but there we go. Oh, that's not okay. Mhm. I'll pretend like there. At least you can kind of see it even with the reflection here. So you see the look in a book. So this one is whatever your question right now, you'll find the answer in a book. The words you find will bring the insight you seek. So especially as you're reflecting on what you're looking at, um, go pull a book, pull something meaningful. It's going to help give you guidance. So we're getting a lot of guidance tools this week because this is going to be a reflective week. So I find that interesting. We've had now 2 different types of tools: the music, listening, giving you a message, and books, opening and finding the message that's waiting to assist you as you go through the week. So I find that kind of interesting. Seems appropriate though. We're going to need the tools we can to make it through the week. Okay, let's finalize up as we come into Saturday and Easter Sunday, which I will be live again, 11:11 Eastern, and then it'll be 10:11 Central, 9:11 Mountain, 8:11 Pacific, and then if you're outside of that, you got to figure it yourself. And I will be here live, and so do subscribe, like, share, so you know when I'm coming live, and you're on whatever social media you're watching me on, then you'll get notified. Okay, so we've got universal days 9 to 1. So 9 brings completion, which is Saturday, release, compassionate closing cycles, an energy of not giving up, consciously letting go of what has served its purpose, and where something new and more aligned can come into that place. Then it shifts to universal day 1, which is powerful new beginning is activated. So I said Easter is like, this is like, I feel like it's a reward, making it through the full moon, going through the reflection, going through the change, doing that deep soul searching and taking decisive action will pay off by the time you get to Easter. Because it's more independence, initiative, fresh starts. Easter Sunday, the numerology symbolism, almost impossible to ignore, is the ancient story of release, resurrection, mapped perfectly into a natural cosmic cycle of the week. And it totally is. It's like we're going through this long, old story of all time. You go through a growth, you go through a reflection, you have that epiphany, the light, you can't ignore it. It shines on you. You've digested it, and then you're resurrected on Sunday, Easter Sunday, through this natural cosmic cycle as leveling up, healing in a way that was meant for you, or coming to this realization that is assisting in the healing. So that is the amazingness of the cycle for Easter Sunday. The elements we have on the Western is Scorpio Scorpio and Sagittarius, and Vedic is Libra and Scorpio. So that's air, water, fire. So as they move, we've got the air in Vedic brings clarity and perspective. And then we make peace with what's ending, where water, coming from the Western Scorpio and Vedic Scorpio, has the emotional depth to let go at the root level. So we're really like, it's done. It's done. It's like that annoying rhubarb plant. If you know anything about rhubarb, they are almost impossible to get rid of. Like, you can dig, 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 but there's a deeper taproot, and it's still going to come back years later. So we're going to take care of that rhubarb that's been annoying you. But I liked rhubarb, so it was never really annoying to me. And so the deep root level, and then we go fire from the Western Sagittarius, which arrives at the close of Easter Sunday. So as it gets the end of the day, which is now the new vision, a forward momentum, the first time that we will feel breath and movement, and ready to generally be excited about what's coming next. So that's going to be good. It feels like that we're going to have that, especially if you've been doing the work through this week. Now, when we get to the Vedic, the moon reflects the Libra through Scorpio. So that energy in Libra is supporting what's been out of balance, right? Movement of perspective, internal peace, deeper waters, right? So all that stuff we've been working on. Then Scorpio arrives under Vedic, and that grows, especially on the collective energy, more introspection and transformation, and more transformative. It's a moment for genuine inner work, releasing old emotional patterns, and trusting the process of renewal. When we get to the Western, the Scorpio dominates most of that period for Saturday, and when we meet again on Sunday, Easter Sunday, it's a deeper emotional release, honest reckoning, and a need and find whatever needs to finally end. That same energy as we talked about. Easter Sunday draws the moon briefly into Sagittarius for the final hours of the day, where the atmosphere begins to genuinely lift, hope expands into vision, quiet strings of a new possibilities, new potential. And the collective may feel the palatable shift of heaviness into anticipation. So we're feeling that change. We're getting excited and we may not know why, or we're feeling a little bit more of that hope. Combined, both the Western and the Vedic, is transformation close of the week. It's an energetic cycle, and with the Easter symbolism in that elemental arc through air through water, and fire point to the essential truth. Something genuinely ending, something equally real and meaningful starting. So we're letting go. It's gone. We're going to feel that there is something genuinely new starting on as we come through Easter Sunday. And you know what's starting Monday, Easter Monday? I am YouTube famous Art Visibility Engine. So if you've listened and come to our webinar and you're going to join us, that starts Easter Monday. So that's interesting because that is genuinely new things going forward and a meaningful new beginning. So if you want a meaningful new beginning, you want to be visible. It's not symbolic transition. It's a true threshold. So it's not symbolic. You want to get through this truth, and our visibility engine is going to help you. Now, release and renew. Encourage to let go of everything that's not needed, and you're really authentic to take the next steps. You're spiritually charged, you're energetically significant, and you're ready to go forward. So how we might make it through Saturday, Sunday? Collectively, we might imagine people are feeling a deep, unexpected sense of release and relief over the weekend. Some may have a moment of emotional clarity. The path forward is obvious. Conversations, hope, forgiveness, new beginnings are arising and are becoming meaningful. Maybe we're doing more reflection on that. And many will feel the weight of what is ending and the quiet excitement of what is coming. So that same thing we were just talking about. In your own life, again, that release, that belief or dynamic of something that a situation, belief, or dynamic is gone. And now it's run its course. So now it's like that relief, that emotional let going. There might be an unexpected wave of emotions that move through you. And it helps genuinely clear what's been stuck. A sense of the new beginning. It's not conceptually, but you are feeling it in your body and the energy. And it's more hopeful, forward facing, and more than you expect, much more than you expect. So how we make it through, how we imagine making it through on this weekend till we meet again. So make sure you join me again. It's Easter Sunday, the 5th at 11:11 Eastern. I go live. Join me on wherever you're watching me, whatever platform you're on with me. Allow yourself to fully release and not push anything new until you've let go of the old. So if you still feel like it's hanging on, don't necessarily push through, okay? Honor any grief, gratitude, and a ceremony that feels appropriate for closing. So maybe you have to write something and just burn it. Like let it flow through you. Maybe you just have that gratitude and you're just going to sit and take those moments and let the tears come of letting go. That's whatever you needed to. The Universal Day 1 with the Easter Sunday is really an invitation to begin, to not hesitate and step forward. And then welcoming the new beginning with openness rather than carrying our old patterns across the threshold. So this full moon starts this threshold that we start on April 6th, on that Monday. So we're going through express, refine, relate, release, and renew. And the fire at the end of this week is different than the beginning. So the fire at the beginning was warmth, confidence, creativity, wanting to be seen, that kind of fire. By the end of this week, you're going to feel new. It's a different fire. It's the phoenix rising fire, that type of energy. So let's pull one final card just to summarize up what the guides would like us to know as we finish up the week. And you'll meet me again. Come and join me live. Make sure you like, share, subscribe wherever you're at so you can stay up to date of when I go live on your platform. Oh, we got it again. We got ask for help again. So we already did that. So then again, this week is just saying ask for help when you need that help. You know that you've got the guides there. Angels and celestial beings are here to protect you. Ask for it. Ask for clarity. Reach out if you need to talk to somebody. That is going to assist you. And you got a bunch of tools for help as well. The book, the music, those types of things are coming up. So I'm going to leave you because we've already been overstaying our little area. But do join me next Sunday, Easter Sunday. Let me know how your week is gone because I'll be interested to see how this rolls out and what's been spotlighted for you. And again, join us for our visibility engine. You can go to IamYouTubeFamous.com, click on it, register, and you will be added, and we will give you all the information so you can come and join us and find out how to be visible and be seen. And also, if you are looking for more guidance, don't forget to check out Clarify Your Direction, my digital download. It is up at the Breathe Within Yoga. So breathe dash within dash yoga dash shop.fourthwall.com, and you'll see the all my products as my digital downloads. The link is also in the description, and it'll help give some clarity for what is coming for the month of April. And you can always check out the March and the March to August guide, which goes over those 6 months. Till next week, thank you so much again for joining me. My intention is this guidance will help you get through the week. And do check out my other resources if you want to be a beta tester and have more details. It's in the description as well.